If it's your first time, don't hesitate to give a subscribe touch, and don't forget to share. Remember, it's always Mex that's trying to update you regarding to what you call the laws and the other things that you definitely need to know to see, and some of the small rights that definitely should understand when it comes to what you call the Gulf countries, or when it comes to Qatar. Most of you been caught unaware, especially in small things that definitely pertain to our what you call our rights. Not saying that you should infringe the rights of the employer, but the rights that appertain to you as what you call an employer, which is quite very important. Yes, and according to the law and according to the state of Qatar, they have to be adhered to in one or the other, such that we both of them have to being protected for what you call their safety. Yes, someone was asking me a question, actually asked me a question that was regarding to what you call skipping what you call the notice period. Yes, most of us we found ourselves that we've been tucked up in what we call a situation that we don't know what is the exact notice period that we are supposed to serve, especially during to what we call the sponsorship change. Yes, let me clear up this space and definitely let you know how these two things that work. We have the notice period that is being given to you by what you call the Ministry of Labor. During the sponsorship change, there is a notice period that you are supposed to give your employer according to the laws before you apply for change of sponsorship, or when you are planning to resign from that company to look up what you call a greater, or to look up another career in any way, in any other situations. These two notice period differ in each of them in its own perspective, but what you definitely need to understand is that the final notice period will always be given by what you call the Ministry of Labor, because it is the one that is responsible for all the labor relations in the country. When you are planning to resign, depending on how long you've worked with that company, or depending on how long you've been in that company, you will give a notice period. So if you've been in that company for less than 1 year, or you've been in that company for 1 year and less, then that means you are going to give a 1 month notice period to your employer if you want to terminate the contract, or you want to terminate the employment contract with that employer or that company. Well, if you've been in that company for more than 2 years, in that company 2 years and above, then definitely you should give a notice period of what you call 2 months. That is according to what you call the drafted labor laws. Yes, let us try to look at the person who is changing sponsorship from one sponsor to another, and this person's change of sponsorship status has been approved by the government, or has been approved by the Ministry of Labor. For your case, if your change of sponsorship from one sponsor to another has been approved by the Ministry of Labor, it is the Ministry of Labor that will give that notice period. If the Ministry of Labor says it's 1 week notice period, yes, even if in your former company you wrote 2 months, that in the ministry notice period that is being given to you is the one that you are supposed to serve with that ministry. Handover, then the new employer will associate a new copy with you in the Ministry of Labor for change of sponsorship. Hope I've tried to share up something for you now. The Ministry of Labor change of sponsorship notice period is the period that definitely you should consider, or is that period that definitely you are going to consider, especially if you are changing from one sponsor to another. However, something that definitely I need to understand, or something that you need to understand, or something that I need clearly to let you know, in some situations we've been caught up feeling what you call, or the people that are feeling for us what you call the change of sponsorship application, and they do not indicate. In the change of sponsorship application form, there is where you are supposed to fill, or where you'll be required to fill if you don't want to serve the notice period with what you call the former company, depending on what kind of mutual agreement that is between you and that company, or depending on what were the breaches of the contract in either party. You have the right to object. You have the right to say, I will not serve a notice period with my former company because of A, B, C, and this should be attached into the application process with what you call proof. Let's say, for example, the other company or the former company that you are resigning from breached what we call the rules of the contract, yes, you can say, I will not serve a notice. I asked to skip the notice period with my former company because it breached the contract, and this is the evidence that it breached. Yes, the ministry, when it is actually approving your change of sponsorship, yes, it will not give, it will scrutinize, check through what you've written, check up your written information, then what it will do, it will get out that notice period. That's why most of you, you've seen yourself that change of sponsorship has been approved and the notice period is 4 days, 1 week, at least 1 week or 4 days that are being given to you. It is just that you specified as you're trying to write, you wrote and specified. That's why it's keeping what you call the notice period, and definitely you get to move out and you change to a new company without even a hassle in any way or the other. Hope I've tried to share something for you. By the way, if it's your first time to come across Mex, don't forget to hesitate and don't forget to give the subscribe button. Remember, I'll always be updating you and I'll always be giving you some of the very important issues that definitely should understand when it comes to what you call the labor laws here in Qatar and what you call the pertaining. So most of these things that definitely should understand in one way or the other. Thank you so much. See you again in the next video. It's always Mex from the Mexcreation TV.